Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, I'm Doug. That's Diana. Our cameraman is Gary. Joe Martin's the president of the section. Ernie back here is a board member. He's a past president. He used to be a secretary. He kind of does everything. No other board members here, I don't think. Yeah. Okay, we're going to get started here. So what we're going to talk about is why people detail their cars, and we're going to go over all those particular things. We're going to take you all the actions in detailing your vehicle from the beginning to the end. And then we're going to discuss products and tools used in the detailing process. And we will have pictures of the different products and tools that you use. And again, like I said, we don't endorse any one of them because everybody uses a different product. You go to a detail shop, they may use something completely different than we use because remember, they buy all their stuff in bulk. We'll talk about what a master detailer takes to a car show. And there's two different types of car shows. You could have like the day show that you go to, or you could go to an overnight show. And when I'm going to an overnight show, like I've gone to the Shelton Vineyards one, I went to Hilton Head a couple of years, and if I'm staying overnight, I take a completely different kit with me. I mean, I take the basic stuff, but I have different things in it because if I'm going to an overnight show, I'm going to wash the car before the show. So I've got to have stuff to be able to wash the car. So I'll take my wheel cleaner, I'll take I use a chamois when I dry my car, I'll take a bunch of different stuff with me because I know I'm going to wash the car. If I'm going to a day show, I take a completely different kit. And then we'll talk about scoring. And we're going to go over the scoring sheets, and you're going to see the point values for everything that's going to be judged on your car. So again, if you have questions, feel free to ask at any time. Next slide. So, before you start detailing, why do you want to detail your car? We're going to go over that. Get your supplies together, because the last thing you want to do is be in the middle of detailing and realize, oh gosh, I don't have my detailer, or I don't have my wax, or I don't have my ceramic sealer, or I don't have wheel cleaner. So make sure you have everything together. Detailing is something like I did my car this morning. It took me about 2 hours because I'd already spent a lot of time on it ahead of time. I didn't have to do a whole lot, but if it's been 5 or 6 weeks before I detail it, it's going to take me a lot longer. So I try to get everything together so I know where it is. Washing and drying your car. I'm going to go over what you should use to wash your car, and we'll talk about what you use to dry your car. Diana and I use two different things. Detailing the interior, the exterior. How to use the clay bar, and I have or towel because there's a new product out. So I use a towel, she uses the clay bar. Waxing and sealing the paint. Some people use a wax. I've stopped using wax. I now use a ceramic sealer on my finish. You can feel the surface of my car. It feels really good. And I touch it up periodically with the sealer so it just keeps adding to sealing the paint. How do you take care of your finish between detailing? What do? We'll talk about what you need to do there. Cleaning your tires and wheels. What products do you use on the tires and wheels? How do you get the wheels clean? How do you get the brake dust off? Your wheels are really bad. You may have to spend a little bit more time and use a little more elbow grease on them. If you get really bad, your next option is to have them refinished. Caring for your convertible top. How many people have convertibles? There you go. Canvas tops? Yeah. If you have a canvas top, recommendation is you want to take care of that canvas as well. So we'll talk about products that you can use for that. How many people have a canvas top with vinyl window or plastic windows? All right, we talk about products that you should use on those plastic windows because over a period of time they're going to get brittle, they're going to crack, they're going to turn yellow, and there's products that you can use to prolong that process. It's a normal aging process with a vinyl top, especially with the plastic windows, but you can delay that by properly taking care of it when you get the car. And then we're going to talk about windows. How many people have window tint on your cars? We're going to talk about products you should use if you have window tint and products you shouldn't use if you have window tint. Then we're going to go to the interior. We're going to break it down. We're going to start with the dash. How do you clean the dash? The instruments, the steering wheel. Then we'll go into the console. You got a center console? How do you clean the console? How do you get the dirt out of it? Diana uses one method, I use a completely different method, but it gets the same result. Doors and trim. You know, you got doors, you got vinyl on the doors, you got wood trim on your doors. So you got to take care of that as well. And a lot of people overlook taking care of the door. A lot of people just take care of the top sill. They forget about all that stuff that's underneath. That all has to be cleaned as well. They forget about opening the door and cleaning the inside finish of the door. I mean, we've judged a lot of cars. I've done a lot of cars at shows, and when they open up the door, they've washed the outside, but they forgot to clean the inside of that, and that sill is just dirty. So we talk about that. Seats. Leather seats, everything today is just about leather, but how many people have an older car with fabric seats? Well, this MB right? It's like armor, it never wears out. Okay then. So we'll talk about taking care of your seats. Then we're going to get down to the carpets. How do you take care of your carpets? What do you do ahead of time, and how do you maintain? What do you do if you got a stain on it? There's different products that you use to get the stain on it. What do you have a really bad stain? I'll show you a tool that I didn't bring the tool with me, but I have a tool that you can use to get out a really bad stain on a carpet, and it was pretty effective. And we'll talk about the product you use. Then we're going to get to the engine. It's a lovely part of the car to have to maintain and detail. Well, there are tricks to detailing the engine. And we'll talk about what you should do when you're getting your car ready for a show and you're going to clean the engine up. You don't have to pull the engine out. Gary will pull the engine out, but most of us just clean around it. And then we're going to talk about what each of us carry in our kits. The red kit is Diana's, the yellow and black kit is mine. And we both carry similar things, but sometimes a little bit different. Then we're going to go into the scoring criteria. We're going to break the score sheet down, sheet by sheet, component by component of the car, and you'll see what each point value is worth. Because the ultimate value is, if you're doing the interior, you want to get the maximum amount of points for that interior. If you're doing the engine, you want to get the maximum amount of points for the engine. If you're doing the exterior, you want to get the maximum amount of points. How many people have ever had their car judged at a Concours? Don't be afraid. If it's your first time getting your car judged, get it judged. Because what it will show you are things that you have to take care of for the next show. I mean, first time I had my car judged, I got a list of stuff. I spent a fortune buying things to get it right. Next show I won my class. So it's just a matter of knowing what you need to fix, taking care of it, showing your car again. Okay, then we're going to do some demonstrations. We've got two cars in here. We have Richard King's SLK, and we have Mike Lee's, we have Lori's station wagon. Mike only gets to drive it once in a while. And we're going to and one of them we're going to use the clay bar on, the other we're going to use the clay towel. One of them we're going to put a wax finish on it, not the whole car, just a certain portion of it. And the other one we're going to put a ceramic finish on it. And you can see the difference between both. Okay, let's go ahead. So getting started. Why do people detail their cars? Well, a lot of them do it because they want to enhance the value of the car. They want to improve its appearance. We talk about getting, one of the things, people getting ready to trade a car, what do? Take it to the car wash, put a coat of wax on it because they want it to look good. And it will add to the value of the car. A lot of people just want to keep the car clean and shiny. I wash my car about every 3 weeks. Of course, I haven't been driving anywhere, so it doesn't get dirty. But I wash it about every 3 weeks. I just run the hose over it and dry it off, and then I might just lightly detail it. Sometimes I don't even run the hose over it. I have what they call a cleaner, wash and wax cleaner. And I just may spray that on and wipe it off and get off the light dust. A lot of people take a lot of pride in their car. I think how many people have gone out and really seen cars that look like crap because they don't take care of them? And then you see the same model later on, somebody has really taken time and there's a big difference the way you perceive the car. Person keeps a nice clean car, you think a lot. They really take a lot of pride in what they own. We own pretty nice cars and we want them to look really good. It shows you care about taking care of your car. Now this is something, when I was putting this together, Diana says, don't forget to tell them about better gas mileage. And I said, what do you mean better gas mileage? She said, yeah, you can get better gas mileage. So I looked it up. Do you know that if you keep your finish clean and waxed or sealed, you can get about 2 miles per gallon more on gas? And there's a link under there, and I looked it up, and it says you can improve your gas mileage by 2 miles per gallon if you have a clean car. Now I know why these guys at NASCAR and Indianapolis 500, they're polishing the car. Air will fly over the surface a lot faster and won't slow the car down.
Well, why do professional skiers wax their skis?
Yeah, because they reduce the friction on the skis. Okay, so what things you may need before you get started. We kind of put this list together. Microfiber towels. You need a lot of them. I probably have 50 or 60 of them. And what I do is I have a bag. When I use it, I throw it in a bag. I only use it a couple times and then I throw it in the bag. One thing about microfiber towels, Diana, lift one of yours up. Show them the inside. Now see, Diana doesn't cut her labels off. I cut the labels off mine. Just something, I'm afraid, sometimes you have a brand new cloth and the label's a little stiff, you might get a scratch on your car. That's how fussy I am about it. If you look at any of my microfiber cloths, every label's cut off. I'm anal about that, but I just cut the labels off. Car washing supplies. A bucket, soap, sponge, or I use a microfiber mitt, just like that, exact same one that I use.
Go back to the microfiber. I've found that material picks up everything, and it doesn't want to turn it loose. And so I'm afraid if you pick up a little cement or one thing or another, you can't take it out, and it's hard to get it out.
That's why you have a lot of them.
I'm afraid I'd do more damage than I would good if I used it.
If you have suspicion you've gotten something on it, throw it in your wash bag, grab another one.
Our old bathtub, when you look at this photo, it tastes the best and red. I like turquoise. Yeah, turquoise or everything, but I do like microfiber.
Yeah, I use microfiber for everything. I even clean I use paper towels on the windows. But today I did my car, I used 4 microfiber towels. 4 of them. And that was because I touched up the finish. I used 2 on the front, 2 on the rear. And then I threw them in the wash bag. And then periodically I'll throw them in the washer and I'll wash them all up, run them through the dryer, fold them up and put them in my basket. We're going to talk about soap. Yeah, we're going to talk about soap. Yeah, we're going to talk about what soap you should use. Detailing a clay bar or clay towel. When I got this car last November, I immediately clayed the whole surface. And then when I decided to go from wax to a ceramic finish, I clayed the whole surface again and put the ceramic finish on it. You probably only need to clay your car once every 6 or 7 months, depending on how dirty it gets. Once you get a good finish on it, when you hose your car off with, even with a hose or just light soap, most of that stuff will come off. And then you just run your hand across it. If you feel anything at all, like a little bump or feels a little rough, clay the car.
Do you have a clay bar?
Huh?
Do you have a clay bar?
Yep. Oh, Diana, she's got the same one I have. Diane, oh, I've got one that's open. I always wrap my clay in saran wrap because right there, if that had fallen on the ground, I would have thrown that bar away. Yep, we're going to show you how to do it. Yeah, it's all be online. That's a clay towel. We'll show you. But actually, there's 2 bars in here. But like, I always wrap everything. I always wrap my clay in Saran wrap. That way, if I drop it, I don't need to worry about it picking up something. Get your detailing supplies together. Get your quick detailer, that you'll need that later on. Your glass cleaner. You need a set of detailing brushes to get into little areas. You'll need a vacuum cleaner. I have a big vacuum, a shop vac that I use when I'm doing the car normally. If I'm going to a show, I take that vacuum. And I have that finished, I have that, and plus I have a long tube to get into the little areas I have that tube as well. So that's what I take to a show. At home, I use a shop vac to really clean the inside of the carpeting. Carpet shampooer. If you've got a stain on it, you want to use a shampooer to get it off, and we'll show you the different shampooers. Paper towels. I use paper towels to clean the windows. I also use them to clean off other areas. Leather cleaner. Actually, Diana and I both agreed on this. We both use the same leather product. Carpet upholstery cleaner. If you've got carpeting, or if you've got a fabric upholstery, you want to use an upholstery cleaner. Dash protectant with UV protection. That's really important because UV rays will destroy the dash. So you want to get something that's got UV protection. Brake dust cleaner for cleaning your windows, cleaning your wheels. All-purpose cleaner. I use one product and I use it to clean the wheels. I also use it to clean the engine. So it's basic. It's a degreaser, and it works really good on the engine. Besides, it has a nice aroma to it, so it smells good too. And then old rags for cleaning the engine. I have one microfiber towel that I've used for the engine, and it's all I can ever use it for now because it looks terrible. It's got all kinds of grease on it and stuff. So this is just a partial list of products that you should start getting together. And again, we say we don't endorse any one of them. These are different things that we use. Next slide. So, now we're on. All right, you're going to start washing your car. So you're going to wash, and you're going to hand wash. I've only taken that car through a car wash one time. And I felt comfortable with it because it had a good sealed finish on it. Most of the time, I wash all my cars by hand. If I don't want to wash it by hand, I will take it to one of these car washes. We use the wand because I don't like the brushes touching the car. Use a soap, especially formulated for automotive use. I've used Meguiar's Gold Class. Today, Karen had gone out and bought zip wax, so we use that today. We have a bucket. I use a 5-gallon bucket. And I actually, if a car is really bad, I will use that bucket for a little bit and I'll dump everything out and refill it with clean water and new soap. Yeah, see, I don't have that. I just have a Home Depot bucket. And that's why if the car is really bad, I may wash part of the car, dump it, refill it with clean soap and clean water, and do the rest of the car. Yes? I'm sorry. It just depends on how dirty the car is. If it's really bad, you've been out and you got a lot of road grime, and especially like if you're driving up north, you picked up salt and stuff like that, you probably wash the car a couple times. Fortunately, down here we don't have that problem, and I've never had a car get really bad. Well, I did one time. I used to drive a Ford Explorer, and I remember I went up to the mountains one time. It took me 3 times to get that car clean because it had mud in the wheel wells and everything. Most of the time, I'll wash it one time, and then I'm pretty good with that. But if it gets really bad, I dump the water. Like Diana showed you, hers has got a screen in it, and the particulates will fall to the bottom. In my bucket, they won't. So that's why I use clean water about halfway through the car.
What do you do in terms of cleaning the underside of the car? Do you leave it steam cleaning or what?
Well, if you're just going to a regular car show like what Concours will have in September, we don't judge the underbody of the car. What I've done a lot of times, I would just take the hose and I'll spray the wheel wells really well if I think I've got dirt and mud on them, and that's about all you can do. And if it's really bad, you can take it someplace and have professionally steam cleaned.
Or take it to a car wash where they have a power washer so that you can get under there.
Yeah, and that means you're gonna take it through where you might have brushes on it, but that's all you can really do. Oh, yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
If you have a good coat of wax on the car, do you really need to use soap?
Yeah, you still got to break the dirt off the wax. Another thing to answer your question, I just saw this. I watched some detailing videos on YouTube, and there is how many people have a pressure washer? There is a tool that you can order for your pressure washer. It's an attachment. It's got wheels on one side, and it's got nozzles that point up. And you just run that thing under the car, and that pressure washer will wash the bottom of your car. You can buy them on Amazon if you really want to get to the bottom wash the bottom of your car. Microfiber mitt. If you have a SUV, we recommend you get yourself a long-handled brush, microfiber cleaner, to get the tops of your cars. I did my wife's car this morning, so I have a brush to get the roof of the car and then rinse it off. So that's getting ready. Now, Joe was going to ask about soap. A lot of people say, I'm just going to get some Dawn dishwashing solution, put it in that bucket, and I'm going to foam it up and I'm going to wash that car. Okay, then get ready to re-wax it. Because dishwashing soap is a detergent, and it's also meant to break up grease and oil. And it's probably going to take your wax off your car if you have wax on it. So we say don't use dishwashing soap. Use a soap that's formulated for a car's finish. A couple things. It does contain harsh chemicals. How many people saw the commercials where they take where they have the oil spills and they use the Dawn dishwashing solution to break the oil up on the birds and stuff? It's got a chemical in it to break down petroleum products. What's wax made of? A petroleum product. It's difficult to rinse. You know, if you're using a regular car washing soap and you rinse it, you'll see that water sign flowing off pretty easily, and when it finishes, it won't look dull. Use dishwashing solution after you rinse it and it starts drying, that finish is going to look really dull. So we recommend don't use dishwashing solution. And again, last, it'll strip the wax if you have wax on it.
Well, if you want to take your wax off, that's the way.
Yeah, if you want to take your wax off, that's the way to do it. Okay, drying your car. A lot of people just grab a bath towel, and they work pretty well, and I used that for years and years. I just used an old bath towel. But then microfiber came out. So then I started using a microfiber towel. And then I found about a chamois. And Diane, in my kit, there should be, it should be sitting down by, is it sitting down by the side there? Laying down sideways, inside? No? May have left it home. Oh, I know why. It might be in the trunk. Go ahead. Well, are you going to use like your lawn blower? you know, if long as if that's the only thing you use that blower for. You know, I won't, you know, when you go to a car wash, they have those overhead blowers that blow the car off, and they do a pretty good job. I won't use my, you know, if I've got a yard blower, I'm not using that on the car. So I would just dry the car off. Wayne.
Maybe I'm wrong, but when you're drying the car, you spend almost as much time drying as you are washing. I use a California blade.
I've seen those, and I've never used one, but I do know what they are. California blade is just a long slip. It's made out of a vinyl silicone mix, and you just grab it and you just slide it across the finish, and it's almost like a squeegee thing, and it'll pull the water off. The one thing I've found about those, if you don't have a really good finish on it, it's going to streak. Hey, Gary, open up the back of my trunk and see if that chamois in there. Right over. Never mind, hold. Is there a plastic thing in there? No, I guess I left it home because it was wet. That's all right. Don't worry about it. I use a chamois, and the reason I like the chamois is once you get it wet, it just sucks the water right up. And then you squeeze it out, and you can dry the whole car with the chamois. And then when you store it in a plastic container, and I must have left it home because I just washed the car, and it stays moist. When you get ready to use it again, if you haven't used it in a while, just wet it, squeeze it out, and then it leaves no streak marks at all in the car. Microfiber will do pretty much the same thing. Nope, just rinse it out. Rinse it out and squeeze it, and then you fold it up and put it back in the plastic container. I got a picture of it. We'll show you. Oh wait, Diana, it's being cut off on the side.
One thing I'm going to say about microfiber.
There it is. That's what I use, is that thing that's all the way to the right. Can we zoom it back? Doesn't this zoom?
No, it doesn't zoom.
There you
What
go.
are you doing?
Zooming it. There we go.
Okay. Your microfiber towels, when you wash them, it's okay to put them through not the dishwasher, your washing machine, but when you put them in the dryer, don't use a dryer sheet.
Don't use a what?
A dryer sheet.
Oh no, because it puts a chemical on them.
Put a chemical on it. So, I mean, it's fine, but you want them good and clean, but just don't put a dryer sheet.
So that on the far right is what I use, and it comes in a plastic container. When you finish with it, you squeeze it out real good, fold it up, and slide it back in that plastic, and it'll stay pretty moist. It will not dry out completely. Like, you know, with the old chamois, they used to dry out and crack and stuff. This doesn't do that. And when I pulled it out this morning, it was still damp, and the last time I used it was 4 months ago, and it was still damp. So what I did is I just got it wet, squeezed it out, and then dried the rest of the car. Yes, Richard?
I have an air compressor, and I use that for all the crevices, and it gets the lower out of there before I use my chamois.
Yeah, that's good if you got one. I'm going to show you another thing to get stuff out of crevices.
This may be obvious. You might want to say how important it is to our law, not let it air dry.
Oh God, yeah. Don't.
You could completely, depending on what's in the water, get a huge mess.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Joe.
You just have to do that.
I've seen people go through a car wash, even the ones where you use the wand. They wash the car off. They spend like $4 in quarters getting the car clean. They pull it out. They get out on the road and they go like hell to air dry the car. Instead of just pulling back out and drying before you leave. It cracks me up when I see them, they pull out and they just spin the wheels and they take off down the road, 60 miles an hour, air drying the car. Doesn't work. Here's another thing. You're throwing up dirt from the wheels, and that surface is already wet. You might as well go back and rewash the car. Okay, so that's what we use for drying your car. So now we're going to talk a little bit more about the exterior. Preparing the paint surface. Whether you know it, and that picture is really about what the surface of your car looks like with all the finishes on it. It's about as thick as a human hair. And what happens is that on the top surface, your clear coat, you'll start getting impurities embedded into that clear coat. And what the clay bar is designed to do is pull those out of the finish. The next slide. And then, so you have a clay bar or you have a clay towel. Grab my clay towel out of there. It's in the Ziploc bag. Oh, never mind. Here it is. All right. I have two of them, depending on what I'm doing. I have a small one, and then I have a large one. And then I have the clay bar. And the way I use this, I get it, squeeze it together, get it soft. Squeeze it out. I have something that looks like that. And I use my quick detailer as a lubricant, and I get in there and I start working the car. But I want to show you something. That clay towel is 11 inches by 11 inches. That's 121 square inches of surface. This will be probably 3 inches by 3 inches. That's 9 square inches of surface. Which one's going to get the car done faster? This is 6 inches. This is 36 square inches. It's still 9 square inches. When you're using the clay, I still use a clay bar if I've got like a small area that I want to work on. And after I get done working on it, I may squeeze a little bit more because you'll start seeing the surface will start to discolor. They'll last about 6 to 8 months depending on use. And you can order them on Amazon. As you use the car, this is a new one. That's a used one. You see how it starts getting gray? Because it's pulling all that stuff out of the surface. So as you use it, you just go ahead and squeeze it and mold it and then press it back down again. So you have a clean surface back up on top, and then lubricate and work on it. And like I said, if you drop it on cement or the road, you might as well throw it away. I'm not going to take the chance that it could have picked up a piece of sand or something. And so when I store mine, I push them down, and then I'll store them in a piece of saran wrap, because when I threw it over here earlier, it hit the ground. It still was somewhat protected. And they all come, the ones that I use, and Diane and I both use the Meguiar's. It comes in a little plastic little box to store it. Some of them you can buy the whole kit. It'll have the clay bar, it'll have the detailer, but it won't have a plastic thing to store it in. So either store it in a Ziploc bag or wrap it up in saran wrap.
After you use the clay bar or the clay towel, you need to put a wax on it?
Yeah, you need to seal the finish. I clay bar after I wash it. Nope. Because the clay has pulled out any imperfections in the surface.
So the clay bar doesn't leave
Nope, nothing at all. The only thing you got to be cautious about is keeping the towels lubricated. Oh, see, Diana uses Meguiar's. Pull my red one out right there. I use Mother's. They both do the same thing. We just use two different products. I like Mothers. Look at the reason why I like Mothers. Mothers will fit in my pocket of, that's why I use, this won't fit in the pocket of my detailing kit. So that's why I use Mothers.
You're a mother.
But they both do pretty much the same thing.
Use a clay tile, clay bar along with that.
Yeah, Diana, just hand me it for a second.
Spray that out first.
Here's how you do it. Here's the surface. Wet. Just like that. And what you're doing is it's pulling anything out of it. And then it's because it's got microfiber on the back, you can just dry it off. And then if you're using a clay bar, you do the same thing. You just wet it, rub it, look at it, see if it's getting dirty. If it's getting dirty, knead it, flatten it, use it again. But you want to keep it lubricated, especially with a towel. I learned it the hard way. That's black, right? If you don't let it, if it gets dry, it's going to leave a black streak. So then I have to take something else to get the black streak out of the white paint. It doesn't leave a permanent mark. It's just like a little streak on the top of the car. So then I use a wax cleaner to get that off. So I've learned from using the towels, keep them wet, keep them lubricated.
What's the spray product on the wire?
The what? This is McGuire's Quick Detailer. I use Mother's Detailer. Instant Detailer.
Instant detail. This is a product you must have in your kit.
Yeah, you got to use Mother's. No,
No, I mean,
any kind of quick detailer.
Doug will talk about it, but in between washes or when you take your car to the show and everything, it's going to pick up a little dirt on the way.
Right.
So when you get there, this is the product
It's
that
the
you're going to
wash,
use.
it's the wash and wax part of it. It's not the detailer part of it, it's the wash and wax. It's something you spray on.
I've got a bottle in there.
They call them different things.
It's a bottle with white liquid. It's in the main kit. It's in the main kit. In where the paper towels are, should be underneath the paper towels. That's wash and wax.
This is different. Wash and wax anywhere is different.
Yeah, but if I've driven to a show, I'll give you a perfect example. I had to take the car to RBM Alpharetta to get something worked on. They washed the car. By the time I got home, I had all this road dust on the back of the car. I didn't want to wash the car again, so I just used that wash and wax, sprayed it on, got a microfiber towel, cleaned it off. As long as it's loose, it'll get it off. So, clay towel, clay bar.
When you get back home, you got bugs all over. Use the wash and wax.
I have another product I use to take bugs off. You have it too, I think. I saw it.
Turbo wax is bug and tar.
Right.
And that won't take off the wax.
Yes.
Yeah, it will take off the wax.
So you want to use bug and tar remover after you wash the car and before you
But what
start.
about, like, when you just went to the dealer, you come home, you got bugs on the car.
Oh, well, depending on how petrified they are on there, hopefully they will be petrified. If they're not petrified, if they're not really stuck
Wash
on
and
there,
wax.
just wash and wax, right? But I've had situations where we've gone on a long trip and come home and those bugs have been on there for like
Right.
2 or 3 days and the sun beating down on them and you just can't get them off because now you're waxing your car because the bug and tar remover will take out the wax.
Like when I got home, I had nothing on the front of the car. All that road dust coming up from the rear was all on the back area. I just used that wash and wax to clean it off. And like when we go to the show on September, I only live 5 miles from the venue. I'll probably just get there and I'll just use the quick detailer on the car. Because that car I'll probably spend the day ahead of time getting the car ready for the show. So basically, when you do that, all those imperfections will leave the surface, and that's when you get ready to seal it or wax it. Wow. Okay, final step. You've washed it, you've clayed it, now you got to seal the surface. Traditionally, people used to just get a can of wax, paste wax, put that sucker on, let it dry till it turned white, wipe that stuff off. Now they've got all different types of wax components or wax formulas. And now they've come out what they call ceramic sealers. So when I was researching, the top rated wax is Meguiar's. Everything that I found on the internet says Meguiar's is the top rated wax. I don't use Meguiar's. I use a product called NextGen. It's a ceramic sealer, and I started using that earlier this year. Diana uses a two-step process.
What's the difference between a wax and a polish, and when do you use one versus the other?
Well, wax, it's just a coating that you put on. You usually have to let it dry. A polish, most polishes are used called synthetic finishes. You can put it on and you can polish it while it's still on the car. You don't have to let it dry. In the side, that red bottle right there, this is a synthetic wax. I can put this on the car, take a microfiber and just work it into the finish. Don't have to let it dry. Wax you normally have to let dry. Diana uses Zymol, and it's a two-step process. She's got a cleaner first that cleans the paint, and that's after she's already clayed the car. And then she uses the finish, she uses carbon wax. It takes a little bit longer, but I've seen her cars and they look absolutely great. It's got like a glass finish on it. I use NextGen, and if you go feel my car, it feels like a glass finish because it's a ceramic sealer. A good wax job will last 6 to 8 months. The sealer will last up to a year with proper care in between. And what's proper care? Washing and quick detailer. Lots of microfiber towels. Lots of microfiber towels.
So you don't have to use the ceramic sealer, and then you use the detailer. You don't have to apply the sealer after you've done the detailer.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. You've already got a good finish. I can't. The question was, if you have a good finish on the car and you're just going to do something in between, do you have to reseal it? No. This is going to clean the surface and put a nice shine on it. Yes? I can't hear you. Come up a little closer so I can hear you.
Okay, let's say it's been 6 months, a year, you want to re-wax the car. Do you have to clean off the old wax, or does the clay bar do that and then?
Clay bar won't take the wax off.
So, I mean, do you just allow that wax to build?
Yeah, you can, or if you want to, you can use Dawn and strip the finish off.
So it doesn't matter if it builds up over here.
Right. Basically, wax is sealing the pores of the paint. Ceramic is sealing the pores of the paint. Wax, any wax that you put on your car, over a period of time, washing it, dealing with road dust and grime, it's going to break down. You're going to need to re-wax the car. Same thing with a ceramic sealer. It's going to break down over a period of time. You're going to have to reseal the finish.
How do you recognize a spot that needs to have the clay bar?
Run your hand across it. If it feels a little gritty, you use a clay bar on it. How do you know when you need to re-wax your car? When you wash it and you spray it, if the water doesn't glide off, if it just kind of sits there instead of, like gliding off the finish, time to wax.
Have you ever waxed the wheels on your car?
I wax the wheels on my car all the time.
I did it when I found by doing that, the dust, I used a hose and all.
Right. And we're going to talk about that. I had that mother's wax. That's what I use on the wheels. The mother's wax that I had. No, it's the one next to it. That synthetic wax. That's what I use on the wheels. That's why it's in the kit. It's a synthetic wax. It means I don't have to let it dry to get to a haze. I just put it on, use my towel, keep rubbing it, and it just starts shining right up. When I do the wheels, if they're really bad, I'll use a brake dust cleaner, and we've got two different ones we'll show you. Matter of fact, I used yours today, P21, and it looked pretty good. The brake dust cleaner just breaks the dust off, lets it get off the car, and then when the wheels dry, then I'll put a coat of wax on them. Next slide. So touching up between detailing. Wash and touch it for finish periodically, especially if you've gone on a road trip, you've got dust and dirt on it. As soon as you can, wash your car. Use car soap, use your towel or chamois to dry it, and then use your quick detailer just to renew the finish. You don't need to necessarily go through the whole process of clay barring unless you really picked up a lot of grime on the car. Use microfiber towels. I use that waterless wash and wax if it's just got like light dust on it and stuff. I'll use that to get that dust off, and then use a quick detailer to seal. The other thing is, if I'm using that waterless wax, I'll still follow up with a quick detailer. Next slide. Wheels and tires. You're doing all this stuff first. The last thing I do are the wheels and the tires on the car. So I use soapy water. I use a stiff brush, and you see that red and black thing up there? That's designed to get between the spokes. That's designed to get between the spokes. And it'll break up the brake dust. So when I'm getting ready to do the car, I use 409 cleaner to wash the tire. How many people scrub your tires? You know what happens? You get all that brown stuff coming out. That's the dirt that's getting embedded in the rubber. So scrub your tires, get those clean, and then do the wheels. Using your brake dust cleaner, use your brush, or you use your microfiber mitt to get in there and clean all the surfaces. And there's another thing that I do. All the Mercedes have recessed lug nuts, right? I use a brush. I'll spray cleaner in that brush, and I'll use a brush like one of those long, thin ones. I'll use one of those to get into the lug nuts, cleaning it out, just cleaning that out. And then I'll rinse it all off. I'll dry it, and I don't use my chamois on that. I'll just use a towel, and I won't even use a microfiber towel. I'll just use like an old bath towel or a hand towel. I'll get it pretty dry, and then I'll let it dry, and I'll go to the next wheel. Do the same thing. By the time I get all 4 wheels done, the first one's dry, then I put a coat of wax on it. And the purpose of the wax is, if you do it enough, you start building up a good seal on it. You could take your hose and squirt it, and that brake dust will just fall right off. The brake dust will stick on your wheels because you've got imperfections in the surface in the finish, and that dust will just embed itself in there. Do I ever clay the wheels? No. I'm a perfectionist, but I'm not going to spend an hour a wheel with a little toothpick in there trying to get that stuff out. The what?
Talk to Jim, my husband.
Jim does.
People ask me, he's actually taken all my wheels off my car and cleaned the inside of them.
You know, your wheels are really deep, and we're only touching the front surface. If you ever had your wheels changed or anything, you see how much dirt builds up inside there. You can't even get to it from the front.
That brush, I think that red and black brush, if that's that long.
Yeah, it'll get back there. Yeah, it'll get back there, but it won't really get it clean like taking it off like Jim does and getting in there, because now you have that whole surface that you can work on. So Diana uses P21, and I use that today. I've used this Mother's wheel and tire cleaner. Now I've got a new product. A friend of mine owns a company that supplies detailing and cleaning products to car dealers, and I just picked up a gallon of wheel cleaner from him. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to see how that works. And then I use the Mother's wax to wax the finish, and then tires. Now this is where Diane and I different. I don't like to put anything on the tires. I don't want them being shiny or anything. That's why I wash it with a scrub brush in 409 to get all that dirt out of the rubber. Diane will do the same thing, but she uses a product that I might just try it. It's called, she's got it with her. Right. How many people have used a spray wheel finish? Don't do it on your driveway. When your driveway gets wet, you'll have 4 nice half moons where the tires were sitting. Trust me, my son washed his car in my driveway, and I said to him, Chris, do not use the wheel finish in the driveway. And what does he do? He used the wheel finish. And when it rains, the whole driveway gets wet except for that 4 spots where he had the wheel sitting and then sprayed it, and it's a silicone, it gets in your cement and it will not come out. Trust me, I have tried everything including muriatic acid to try to get that out of the driveway. It will not come out. The only option is to buy 5 gallons of it and do the whole damn driveway.
Yeah, and then you'll walk out there and slip.
Yeah. So, if you want tire dressing, there should be a sponge inside my kit. It's a black thing. Should be up, not there? You see that little brush? No, I don't use that. That little, where the last thing about the wheel finish is, there's a little sponge there. Put it on the sponge, roll around the wheel, and then take a towel and just dry it off.
Yeah, that one's like that.
Yeah. If you're going to do anything to any tire dressing, I don't use tire dressing at all. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention on the interior of your car. We haven't got to the interior yet. Don't use Armor All. Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't use Armor All on your car at all. Next slide. How many people have a car that's got black plastic bumpers? Black plastic bumpers. 107s have it, a rub black bumper. What's going to happen is over a period of time it's going to start oxidizing and it's going to look white. So there's a product called Mother's Black to Back. I have it right there. It works great. A lot of new cars have a black bumper finish or a black trim piece. Use that. If you look at your windshield wipers, there's a big component. It's black plastic, and it will start turning white. Use that on the black plastic. So there's Meguiar's black, and then Mother's Back to Black. And then I use a sponge to apply it. Fortunately, my car has a lot of black plastic on it, but it's all honeycombed. It will be a bear to try to get those clean. If it's a smooth surface, it'll work pretty well. Next thing, convertible tops. You got a soft convertible top, you need to take care of it. The sun, the heat, the moisture will start making that top break down. And I use a simple product. It's called Rag Top. It comes in 2 stages. It's got a cleaner, so when I'm washing the car, like when I washed the car this morning, I'd already sealed the top. I already put the finish on the top. But the first time I do it, I take that cleaner, I take a brush, I spray it on, and it gets all the dirt out of the fabric. I rinse it off, and I let it dry. And when it's dry, I take the Rag Top, and it comes in an aerosol can, and I spray it on, and what it does is it seals the canvas so that when that top gets wet, the water just beads right off. And then in between, periodically, I'll just reseal it with the Rag Top. If it gets really dirty, I'll clean it with the cleaner, let it dry, put the Rag Top finish back on it.
Would you use the back to black on the like rubber gaskets? I got a retractable hard top. There's all these black rubber gaskets around the edge of that. Do you use a special?
You can. Have they turned white?
No, they haven't.
No, if they turn white, if they're not turned white, I wouldn't do a thing with them. This primarily was designed for the plastic bumpers and plastic trim pieces that you see on a lot of cars. Next. Who's got a vinyl or a plastic window on your soft top? You want to use, as they get older, they get yellow and they're going to start cracking. You can prolong that process if you use a cleaner, and there's 2 different ones. There's one made by Meguiar's called Clear Plastic Cleaner and Polish, and there's another one that's very popular called Plex Pro. That's an aerosol. The other 2 you put on a sponge, rub it in. The cleaner cleans the plastic first by helping remove some of the dirt from the surface. The wax seals it up, makes it nice and clean. Anybody have a golf cart? No? Use that on the windshield of your golf cart. Yeah, any plastic, but like the community Wayne and I live in, there's tons of golf carts. And I use the plastic cleaner to clean the windshield of the golf cart. Go back 1 bit. Yeah, the plastic cleaner and polish will help prevent the cracking, and it helps keep the glass or the plastic from turning yellow. Of course, over a period of time, no matter how, over 20 years, it might just turn yellow and crack. You're just going to have to replace it. But this will prolong the process. Okay, next slide. Windows. Clean the outside first, clean the inside last. How many people have tint on your inside windows? Do not use Windex. Do not use any window cleaner that has an ammonia in it. What it does is after a period of time, that ammonia interacts with the plastic, and you will have nice purple finish on the inside of your windows. It will also break down, some of it will break down the glue, and you'll get nice little air bubbles that you'll. How many people have gone down the road and seen a rear window on a car that's got all kinds of bubbles in it, or seen the side windows and they're purple? That's because they're using a Windex product or a product with ammonia in it. I use a product called, well, she uses Worth. She swears by it. I've never used Worth. I know it's a good product. It's made in Germany. I use invisible glass. You can use any window cleaner as long as it's not blue. Any window cleaner that's blue probably has ammonia in it, and if you have a tinted windows, like Mike's or Lori's windows are tinted, my interior windows are tinted, after a period of time, it's going to break down, they're going to start turning purple. Use a foaming, that foams up, or use a clear window cleaner, and make sure you read the thing that says that it doesn't have ammonia in it. So I clean the outside first. When I get the outside done, I clean the inside. I use paper towels for the windows. Yeah, and I carry, in my kit, I carry a roll of paper towels. I'll do is I'll go into the kitchen and I'll see if we got one that's just about getting down. I'll pull it off the towel holder, and then Karen says, "Where's the paper towels?" I said, "Should be in the kitchen." I have no idea. And she uses microfiber, but I use paper towels. The what? Water and vinegar. I never use water and vinegar. I know people use it, but I've never used it. Oh, Rain-X, yeah.
On their windows and everything, which I guess is okay, but it will leave a little film. So to get any of that residue off, vinegar and water.
Yeah, I don't put Rain-X on the windows at all. I don't.